Hey you, how many plugins do you have? 50? 100? More? If you don't know, then you probably have way too many, and it's actually hurting your music. I know because I went from 200 plugins down to 30, and my tracks got 10 times better. When I started producing, I listened to all the advice and did what everyone does. Downloaded every plugin I could get my hands on. Free ones, paid ones. My plugin folder was a graveyard of good intentions and wasted money. I had this EQ for vocals, that EQ for drums, another EQ for mastering, different compressors for kicks, leads, synths. My plugin collection looked like a hoarder's basement. Stuff everywhere, and most of it never getting used. The turning point came when one day I caught myself wasting time trying to decide which EQ to use. Not EQing, just choosing a plugin. And I thought, what the hell am I doing? I realized I was using all these different plugins for the exact same task. Why did I need 15 different EQs when they all do the same thing? Boost and cut frequencies. Some big artists told me to use this specific plugin for vocals, another one for drums, another for synths. But why? It had no rhyme or reason, only personal preference disguised as the right traditional move. And then it hit me. I was complicating everything. I'd throw 5 plugins on a channel just to justify buying them without even realizing it. The abundance wasn't helping me. It was paralyzing me. And worse, I was damaging my sounds by over-processing everything. So I did something radical. I went through all 200 plugins and asked myself one question. Does this do something unique that nothing else can do? If the answer was no, it was gone. That fancy vintage EQ that cost me $80? Gone. Pro Q3 does the same thing. That revolutionary limiter everyone was hyping? Deleted. Ozone Maximizer handles it perfectly. All those unnecessary plugins I'd spent money on? Bye-bye. I probably wasted like $500 or more. But the real waste was time. I was listening to other people's advice, buying plugins without fully understanding them, thinking they'd save my production, and just doing stuff mindlessly because someone said that's what you need to do. It led me down a false path instead of helping me understand the actual ideas behind the plugins. Hours and hours that could have been spent on gaining a better understanding. So here's what survived the purge. My essential plugins that actually matter to me. For EQ, just Pro Q3 by FabFilter, one EQ for everything. Vocals, drums, mastering, whatever. And I haven't even upgraded to Pro Q4 because this does exactly what I need. So why spend money on features I won't use? For sidechaining, ShaperBox 3. For multiband compression, Pro MB, which as you know from my previous videos, is also my secret measurement weapon. For distortion, Saturn 2. I have a fondness for FabFilter plugins because they're simple and they work. For synthesis, Serum 2. And yes, I upgraded from Serum 1 because it had features I actually needed. Not just ooh shiny new thing, but legitimate improvements. For kicks, Kick 2, even though I have Kick 3. Honestly, I shouldn't have upgraded. Kick 2 does everything I need, but I fell for the marketing, and it was relatively cheap to upgrade. So yeah, I know, I'm only human. Then there's the specialty stuff, Contact for realistic instruments, Guitar Rig for amp sounds, Valhalla Vintage Verb for reverbs. I maybe have 30 to 40 plugins in total. And honestly, I use a lot of Ableton stock plugins because guess what? Sometimes the default plugins are perfectly fine. And look, I'm not saying you can't have personal preference or even multiple plugins that do the same thing. I love my Moog EQ4 for its color and airband. And I use this plugin called Glitch 2 by Illformed, which is an audio glitch effect generator that could be 100% replicated with default stock plugins. But I use it for convenience sake. These are optional tools, nice to haves, that I chose to get even without a good enough reason. But some of them speed up my workflow and help shape my unique sound as an artist. But I'd be lying if I said that they are essential or mandatory. So I would suggest that you try to keep it simple. One tool per job. Master it completely instead of half learning 20 alternatives. Also, your DAW probably came with great stock plugins. Use them. Don't buy something just because your favorite artist uses it. I can tell you that since simplifying, my production speed increased dramatically. No more choice paralysis. No more overprocessing. Just pick the tool and use it. All 5 tracks I've released were made with just these plugins, and it allows me to be consistent with my production because I know these tools inside and out. No guessing, no hoping, just results. But here's something way more important than organizing your plugins, protecting them, because there's one disaster that can wipe out everything you've worked for. And if you want to know what happened to me, then hit subscribe right now, because next time I'm telling you about the day that I almost lost everything and how you can make sure it never happens to you.